Boop. All right. And we're and we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Knotfest Wrestling, the Hanukkah edition. Rob Pasbani, how you doing, bud?
L'chaim. I'm doing very well.
Great. Are you excited tonight? As we are recording this, tonight will be the first promo from an openly Jewish champion. How are you feeling about that?
I feel very represented. I'm glad finally we're however much, like, I think Jews are like 4 to 8% of the worldwide population.
Yeah.
8% of the world champions as well. Good. I'm very excited about it.
I'm got a little bit of, you got some wonky audio, my friend.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're back. You're doing good now.
Okay.
But yes, very excited. Jewish world champion, first openly talking about it.
World champion. He loves being Jewish, which I'm all about.
I love that. You know, and it's good that, I mean, he kind of took up the mantle. I don't know if you were like back in the day, like a David Starr guy, but it bummed me out that he was we now have to refer to him as scandal acknowledged David Starr.
What I would say is I always respected what he was trying to do. Totally. But I always felt that, like, David Starr was such a, like, 1980s wrestler name. Like, you could have spent 2 more minutes coming up with something a little more clever. Like, his real name isn't even David. You know, it's just Star of David Starr. Totally. Get out there!
Yeah, like, I could see that was his finisher was like the Star of David, right, or something. I don't know.
It was something. Yeah, hold on. I'll look it up.
We'll look at it. But you know, I felt, you know, I was like, this is kind of cool, and it feels like Max is really kind of taking up that mantle, and it's good because, yeah, as we've talked about, there just hasn't been a lot of Jewish representation in the sport. There were a lot of wrestlers that I like looking up today that I didn't even realize were Jewish. Like Raven
I always knew, yes, because his real name is Scott Levy. So I mean,
oh really? Oh.
Yeah,
I love that the guy who brought, you know, he was one of the first guys that brought current music to wrestling.
Yeah, Raven was one of my guys as I was growing up. He was coming up just as I was a teenager, so it was the perfect thing. And I was a fan of his even before, when he was Scotty Flamingo in WC. Mm-hmm. He's had a lot of weird gimmicks. He had a rich Connecticut guy in WWE. He was Johnny Polo. But I was always a fan of his. And Raven was especially, like, my favorite guy in ECW. And then when he went to WCW, it was really cool because it kind of felt like he brought a little chunk of ECW to, like, the more mainstream promotion. Totally. And while I wouldn't say I was ever really that religious, I went to only a handful of Yom Kippur ceremonies at the synagogue, and wouldn't really go otherwise. Stopped fasting a long time ago, but I would say, you know, I'm proud to be Jewish, and proud to be an American secular Jew. And I was proud of Raven as like one of these cool Jews, because we don't got a lot of cool Jews. And then the coolest Jew came in Bill Goldberg.
Mm-hmm. Bill Goldberg.
And I remember actually at the time, there was a bit of a brouhaha. And this, I don't know how true this might be, because it was in the dirt sheets. But the idea was, when Goldberg won the title, he wanted to put a Star of David, the Jewish symbol, on his tights. And Eric Bischoff nixed the idea because he didn't want him, he didn't want Christians to not like him or whatever. Like, you know, he thought it would make him less marketable. And I remember at the time not understanding, like, Well, if that's the case, why does Rey Mysterio have a cross on his mask? You know, like how is that different?
Yeah, that's so fucked. I didn't even know that. Is that
Yeah, this is like one of those tiny little bits. Again, it could have just been like sheet gossip, like wrestling gossip that might not be. But I remember it being a thing at the time when I was uh like following the wrestling news back in the day, like 99 2000.
man? That makes so much sense. But that's also why, like, because I'm not a religious Jewish person. Being Jewish is the weirdest thing in the world because it is a religion and also it is your culture and a race or whatever. You don't get to decide to be a part of it or whatever. It is a bizarre instance, and this is one of those things where it's like it's not even you have a guy wanting to be represent like put some representation on television in the 90s and getting it shot down because the promoter is like, well, like let's not promote another religion or whatever. That's
Whatever,
insane.
I don't remember. Yeah,
Yeah, just it's so messy, and as we've talked about before a number of times on this show, Bill Goldberg is like the one tough Jew in media. It's him and Adam Sandler in Inglorious Bastards for the
that's
most part
fair.
until or at least until our boy Max today. So I don't know. Today we're going to be putting some more Judaism into the professional wrestling landscape because we're continuing our trend of fantasy booking holiday themed pro wrestling events because I'm we talked about it. I don't know about you. I'm a big Halloween Havoc guy.
Love
Just
it.
on just on concept of just because
Absolutely.
it's great. You probably watched actually like the real deal Halloween Havocs
Oh yeah,
as they happen.
one of my favorite shows of the year. Like I just love Halloween. It's my favorite Q4 holiday of
Totally.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's the most exciting one. It's the most creative one. And there's it has everything. It has giving. It has dressing up. It has like decorations. All the best aspects of the other two holidays, minus the family. It's your chosen family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I loved Halloween Havoc growing up, and like the peak of Halloween Havoc was the late '90s when the NWO was there, and it had the amazing sets with the giant, like it was a graveyard, and it had the overblown like demon, like the balloon demon.
Mhm.
Always so cool. I still think very fondly to those shows. And yeah, and of course, there could very easily be a Hanukkah version of that. Before we do want to mention the first Jewish wrestler that I ever recognized
Oh,
visually was a jobber in the late 80s, early 90s in WWF at the time, but very clearly a Jew because his name was Barry Horowitz. And what was so
wow.
great about Barry Horowitz is so he would be, in the late 80s, early 90s in WWF, there would be like just jobbers you would never see again. And then there would be jobbers that would be kind of recurring that almost had their own kind of personality, like Iron Mike Sharp and Barry Horowitz. And what was cool about Barry Horowitz is he would pat himself on the back, like literally, like when he's introduced, he would just do that's his like taunt. And then like if he would ever get a move in, he would stop and like look at the crowd and then do the taunt to the point that like there was once a T-shirt and the shirt was a handprint on the back shoulder. It was
Oh
amazing.
my god, that's so good.
Amazing. And so here's the thing. So Barry Horowitz was one of these guys, like maybe the most recognizable enhancement talent job or whatever you want to call him. And in the mid 90s when WWF was very shallow with their roster,
Hmm.
they finally gave him his first win. And it was like this big, it was like the modern day equivalent would be like AEW's Brandon Cutler getting a win. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then he
yeah.
finally got a win. And it's like, oh, we're going to take him seriously. And I remember he came out and his theme song was Hava Nagila.
Fuck yes. Oh
It
my
was
god.
so good. I'm going to say, I believe even a SummerSlam once in like a tag match with Hakushi. It was phenomenal. So he was the first Jewish wrestler that like just like prominently, like specifically, explicitly Jewish.
Yeah, I am
that
a Jewish.
I give him big props. And I want to say in the aughts, I feel it was Colt Cabana. He was the one doing the Jewy merch.
Totally.
I Star of David Colt, like stuff like that. He was
So good.
carrying the banner.
Love Colt. I feel like I knew about Colt before I even was watching wrestling regularly. He was on a Mark Maron episode.
I was
And I
gonna
was
say
like,
he did a lot of comedy crossover, so I'm sure that's how he got on your radar.
yeah. He was so he I was aware of him, and I sort of, when I started watching indie wrestling, he was sort of my guy that I went for. Like going out of WWE, I was like, okay, well, what's this guy doing? Where can I see what Scotty
Right.
Goldman is up
Yeah.
to? So, well, you know what? Speaking of Hava Nagila, do you want to do your pay per view first, or should I go first? How do you feel? You
I don't mind going first.
go
I
first.
can do it.
Yeah,
So my pay per view, it's actually I mean it's a pretty obvious name, and I'm almost afraid that we came up with the same
we
name because
might
it's
have.
so obvious. It's the pay per view is Hardcore Hanukkah.
Oh no, go for it.
Okay, great.
You got it. It's
So
yours.
so my pay per view is Hardcore Hanukkah. Actually, and to be completely upfront, it is a joke that me and my friend have had a long time about how there needs to be, like, why are there all these holiday themed pay per views and not a hardcore? And so Hardcore Hanukkah, the concept of it would be, it's like Extreme Rules, in that every match has some sort of gimmick or
I love it.
extreme spin to it. And I'm going to start with the opener and work my way up to the main event. It's a six
Perfect.
match card. So
Love it.
in the opener, it's going to be a bit of a schmaz. I'm going to have and I want to make clear, all the wrestlers that I'm announcing, imagine they are in the peak of their career. Okay, we're not like some of these guys might not be with us anymore. Some of them might be past their prime.
Okay.
Everyone is in their prime. In my fantasy, this is a fantasy pay-per-view, Hardcore Hanukkah.
Listen, this is our dream. There isn't going to be a Hanukkah pay per view, so
Yes.
like whatever.
So the opening match is the Hardcore Dreidel match.
Yes.
And so it is on 3 poles, there is an oversized dreidel with barbed wire wrapped around it. And anybody can grab the dreidel is the only weapon you can use legally in the match.
Okay.
And so it's a 4-way between Colt Cabana, Barry Horowitz, Noam Dar, WWE Cruiserweight Noam Dar, and former WCW Cruiserweight champion Billy Kidman. I didn't know it was Jewish until today. So it's a nice opener.
Kidman, we should have known.
Yeah, Kidman. Yeah, obviously.
Kidman. We have a comment in the chat.
Oh, yes.
Someone said, "You don't like Christmas? We like it fine, but we're Jewish, and this is a Jewish episode."
Yeah,
There'll be
here's the thing. And I want to be clear. Let me be clear. I feel like I'm Obama right now. There's plenty. The thing is, I feel like there's so much Christmas stuff out there.
Totally.
Like an overabundance of it, which is great. Fine. That's fine. So we just feel like there could be a little more in the Hanukkah realm.
Here's the thing. The most famous bad pay-per-view of all time is December to Dismember.
Yes.
That is a Christmas pay-per-view. I feel like if that's the worst one, why not give a Hanukkah pay-per-view a shot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. It's the worst one in history. Hanukkah pay-per-view one time. Keep going, Rob. I love the dreidel match.
And then in the follow-up, it's the bar/bat mitzvah evening gown match. So the women wear evening gowns and the men wear a tuxedo, and the way you win is you have to strip your opponent of their outerwear until they're in their underwear. And the competitors are Missy Hyatt, the former Victoria, Lisa Marie Varone, and peak Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
And so we have a little bit of Andy Kaufman in there. And then we have
sorry. Can I make
yes.
Should it be their actual bar or bat mitzvah gowns or suits, like the
I,
actual
I
ones
think
that they
so.
wore.
If they could fit in them, I don't know. That might be hard now.
That all the more fun, maybe.
That's
I don't
fair.
know.
Easier to rip off.
Yeah,
But yes, you get the point. And there'll be cakes around. It'll be very messy.
great,
Uh,
perfect.
then now we're going to be doing some remote matches. There's going to be a Katz's Deli match. The match happens completely in the pastrami section of Katz's Deli.
Yeah.
You can use all the meats if you want. It's Drew Gulak versus Hollywood actor David Arquette and former WCW champion.
Wow. Hell
I think Gulak and Arquette could really work out something entertaining there.
totally.
Then our second remote match, it's a Schwitz match. The match happens completely inside of the Russian Turkish baths.
Yes.
In the saunas. And we have Prince Albert, Matt Bloom versus the genius, Lanny Poffo.
Incredible.
Now we're at the top of the card. We have our final two matches. We have in the penultimate match, the 8th Crazy Weapons match. We have a oversized menorah, and from each candlestick, I guess it would be 9 Crazy Weapons because of the menorah. That's the bonus. There would be a hanging weapon, like a kendo stick, a chair. Maybe the 9th is a table or something like that.
Right.
And the rest, it's Goldberg versus Raven.
Fuck yeah.
And then our main event, the match itself is Macho Man Randy Savage versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I think a fantasy match in any world. And the stipulation is a Torah match. And now what is a Torah match? The winner must climb the ladder, grab the Torah, and read the prayer on the Torah to trigger Rabbi Paul Heyman to blow the shofar.
Yes.
Once the shofar is blown, the winner is declared, and the Torah match is over.
For a minute, I thought you were gonna go War Games and go like, then the match starts.
The match beyond.
I fucking love a Torah. Just
the hanging Torah with the little.
They gotta take all the shit off too. You don't even take off the hook. You gotta take the necklace and the
you gotta unwrap it. That's why it's a challenge, because it's not only grabbing it, you have to say the prayer in enough time before your opponent can climb up and stop you from saying the prayer.
You also gotta find the prayer, so you're just like shifting. Like they gotta be knocked.
The psychology is gonna be insane.
It's so wild. Rob, I love this. I also loved that you paired only Jewish wrestlers.
Yes,
wasn't the assignment.
This is my WWE evolution. It's only Jewish wrestlers.
Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe inviting some friends of the Jews. Like I would feel like Brock Lesnar is allowed to the party because of his affiliation with Paul Heyman or whatever. And like I was like, if I was going to be a bit more cynical, going to riff on the War Games idea with like, one team of Jews and one team of Muslims. But I figured that, we don't need this kind of political commentary right now.
No, not the climate for that shit. But fun. I love a Jewish War Games team just in general. I think that would be great. So, all right. Dipping over to mine is I'm glad like nothing. We haven't done anything the same. We've just have the same wrestlers.
Okay,
because so I put mine together as if it could almost happen today. Like there's just not enough Jewish wrestlers, so some folks gotta come out of retirement. Some folks gotta be working for the other company. Like it wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Right. Assume this is some sort of charity event where boundaries are crossed. Forbidden doors are open.
Absolutely. It's a progressive charity. It's pro Judaism, but still free Palestine. Anyway, so my event is titled Havoc Nagila.
Love it.
Havoc
Love it.
Nagila. 8. So there's going to be 8 matches, 8 crazy fights.
Oh, love it.
Got to do it. And since we have Havoc in there, it's inspired. Halloween Havoc is our favorite thing. We have spin the dreidel, make it fatal.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the rules of spin the dreidel, make it fatal are Gimel is spinner's choice because Gimel is the big, you get all the stuff. So whoever is actually doing the spinning, they get to choose the match stipulation, any match type that they like. Shin is a death match, just like a hard, because it's the worst one. So you just, we're going barbed wire ropes, the whole 9. It's going to suck ass. None is just basic no rules. And Hey is a cage match because why not? Whatever. It's medium. It's a medium type match in between those two things. So in match number 1, I didn't have every wrestler be Jewish, but each match features a Jewish wrestler.
Okay.
So the first match, the dreidel is spun. Michael Nakazawa picks a miracle oil match against his opponent, Drew Gulak.
Okay. That's a good one.
I figure that, like, Drew is silly enough to have fun with Nakazawa and really make I think the baby oil gimmick is underrated in how funny it is. I think it's very silly. And he's not on TV enough. And I feel that, like, a technician like Drew, who's also silly, can really get the baby oil gimmick over and make this match a lot of fun to watch. Match number 2 is just a regular no rules match. It's not a regular match. It's no rules. It's hardcore, whatever. Hook versus David Arquette, which I think could be a lot of fun. Yeah,
I'd love to see David Arquette choked out.
Exactly. I feel like this is David is incredible at getting beat up, and I feel like putting him on a big stage like that would be a lot of fun, and also it can be a longer hook squash than normal. I would say you can get more than 2 minutes out of this. I think, just in David Arquette's masochism, he's unbelievable.
Yes, and his stalling.
Ugh, the stalling. Number 3, I'm going Mox versus Raven in a death match.
Oh, that's a great match. That's a dream match. I like that.
I feel like it would be a dream match. These guys are both they both love an ill-fitting leather jacket, and they both are little blood pigs. So let them go at it. It'll be a lot of fun. I feel like they have similar. They have a similar aesthetic and a similar psychosis, so it'll be a lot of fun. I'm surprised. Like, until I put this match together, I didn't put together that, like, oh, Mox probably loves Raven and is really inspired by.
Yeah.
Like, did Raven come out to Alice in Chains?
He came out to the Offspring.
Right.
What's it called? God, I can't. I was happy. Right. Tommy Dreamer came out to Alice in Chains.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer. It's the opposite. Okay. Well, I was gonna say, like, Mox, when he was in New Japan, he had that theme that kind of sounded like Rain When I Die or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's totally inspired by ECW. You could just see it. And actually, when I interviewed him on Squared Circle Pit, he talked about how because they would do a pay-per-view every year from Cincinnati, I believe.
Yeah.
Columbus. He would go and he would just hang out at that venue. And I think that's the same venue that AEW performed at a few weeks ago when he faced Hangman. That was really cool.
That was very cool. It was a great match, except for that one spot that was very scary. But I'm glad that he got that moment a little bit, at least for a little. Yeah. Probably a little bit of a ruined moment, but still glad, still happy that happened for him. Match number 4 on my card: Dean Malenko versus Bryan Danielson. I feel like that's a dream.
Oh, excellent match! I forgot to include Dean Malenko on my card.
Yeah, Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko and the other Malenko brothers. There's like Jared Malenko, the great Malenko.
Boris Malenko. There's Debbie Malenko.
Yeah. Um, but I'd like good for them.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they all got into the business. But Dean is I feel like he's the Dean might be the biggest wrestler's wrestler, right?
hmm Yeah, I think so as well. I didn't really appreciate him until much later on when I would go back and rewatch stuff and see how great he worked with like Rey Mysterio, who was always my favorite. And I
Right.
realized like, oh, a big part of that is because Malenko is there to like catch him properly and feed for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Malenko is great, but he just I feel like it's hard. It was especially hard for like a 90s early 2000s wrestling audience to get into him
hmm
because you know everyone's enormous and then you also have flippy guys like Rey Mysterio, and Malenko just kind of looks like an extra from Taxi, which I love. I think it's fucking great look. But I totally get why that does not pop in that time
Yeah.
period. But I hear every time you hear like a wrestler who's good at wrestling interviewed, they'll give it up for Dean, man.
Yeah, he had a really good matches with Guerrero. Him and Benoit had really killer matches. It was always like you wouldn't necessarily look forward to a promo he would do, but when it's a pay-per-view and it's his match, it'd be a good match.
I've heard I don't know, man. I've heard he's really funny from
Yeah,
folks.
back behind the scenes. I heard that too from a bunch of people. I think even Brody told us when we were hanging out with him.
Yes. Yeah.
That he
That's
said
true.
it'll just be the driest thing, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. So funny. That's I think it's great. And I feel like this is a match that should be a dream match that I've never heard people talk about. Is that this
Yeah.
would be I think it would be this is match of the night probably.
Mm-hmm. This will get the crowd going.
Absolutely. And then we got Lisa Marie Varone Victoria from WWE versus Jamie Hayter in a cage match. I think it would be a
Oh,
lot of
nice.
fun. Because I don't know a ton about Victoria, but I have known that she kind of had like a mean ass beater gimmick herself. It
Mm-hmm.
seems that she might have been a Jamie Hayter of her day.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. And she was in kind of this time period where women's wrestling was incredibly de-emphasized, but
Right.
she was one of the few women that could really, really go.
Yeah.
So she is kind of like wrong place, like right place, wrong time, kind of. She could have
Right.
been really big if she came along a few years later, but she always delivered. And I agree, this would have been. This is also kind of like a nice generational dream match.
Absolutely. Give the ladies the cage. Come on. Why not? Also,
They had the
got
better War
Nikki.
Games match this past weekend. I thought I like just the story in the men's match was incredible, but just
Incredible.
the match itself, like without the story, like in terms of exciting moments, the women
Yeah.
killed it.
Oh my god. Io is the best War Games competitor ever.
Yeah, she's crazy. She'll do anything.
She'll do anything. I think about the trash can spot once a week. I think about her putting the trash can on her head on top of the cage and jumping on everybody. This is my favorite moment of a War Games match, I would say. But yeah, you're right. The men's match in War Games, let's talk about this a little bit. Just
Sure.
I loved I was so invested in the ending, but then I realized watching the match, I was like, oh, it's just over. It started and it was like maybe 3 minutes long and then it was over. It was pretty short.
Yeah, like it was really all about Sammy saving Jay a few times, and then boom, then like everyone's in, and let's get it over with.
Yep. Which, you know what?
Hey,
That's listen, do
that's what
one
it needed to
match
do.
for the exciting spots and one for the story. It's a smart way to do stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody's gonna get fucking exhausted. Speaking of people getting fucking exhausted, match number 6 on the card: Billy Kidman versus Ray Phoenix.
Oh, beautiful.
I
Love
think it'll
it.
be. I don't know a lot about Billy Kidman either. I've
Kidman
seen
was
him.
really good. There was this in like 99, like late 98, early 99.
Mhm.
Him, Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, and like Psychosis, they would it would be like some combination of the four of them would be the opening match on the pay-per-view.
Right.
And every pay-per-view for like a good 4 or 5 months, they stole the show.
Yeah.
So I feel like he was very, very consistent. He did a really nice shooting star press before he came to WWE, put on a little weight, couldn't really do it anymore. But
Mm.
in WCW, he was fantastic.
Yeah, his finisher is the. He was the first guy, at least as I understand it, to do a shooting star press as the finisher. Right.
Yeah, in America, I believe he's the first guy in America. I think it started in Japan.
Probably.
But yeah, absolutely. And
He like popularized it as like you can beat somebody with this move. Like
yeah,
you've never seen a white guy do this or whatever.
mm-hmm.
But I think this would be a barn burner. I feel like, you know, even
Jushin Liger was the one who invented. I knew it.
was
He
it
was the person.
Jushin?
Yep.
That guy. He's Jushin has got to be like in a contender for like one of the goats. I feel like you might have to. The more I learned about Jushin, when I found out about Kishin and stuff, I was like, this guy might. We got to do Mount Rushmores one time on the channel. I think we got to do some Mount Rushmore. It's gonna be fucking hard, but I feel like every time I learn something about Jushin, I'm like, he might have to just he keeps forcing his way up there. It's awesome. But yeah, this I feel like we need a spot fest on this card. We got a lot of like fun goofiness. We had some technical wrestling. We had a cage match. Now we need some flips. And now back to some goofiness because number 7 on the card, we have Goldberg versus Orange Cassidy. Gold versus Orange.
Okay.
I feel like this is a match where people would be this. I feel like this combination is just so intriguing that you have to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's a good oil and water kind of mix.
Yeah.
And I think I think it'll be worth it for, Goldberg, like Orange Cassidy tries to tackle Goldberg. Goldberg doesn't move. And then Orange starts doing his small kicks, and Goldberg's just like, what? And then just clobbers him.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or I think, yeah, you have like, you look at a match like this and you're like, is this going to go the way it can only be a squash, right? Like, how are they going to make this anything other than what it is? Like, because Goldberg can't do
anything. Goldberg can't do longer than a 5-minute match.
Right. Yeah. It's not a good idea. So what is it going to be? It's not a Haas fight. So like, I feel like the intrigue is what sells this. And also, yeah, gold versus orange. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, agree. Yeah,
Color war.
I think that would be really fun.
And then final match of the night. Because this is a match that I really want to see. This is the only match with 2 Jewish people. And it's MJF versus Colt Cabana in an Iron Maccabee match.
What's an Iron Maccabee match?
It's just an Iron Man match. But they use the word Maccabee. Yeah, I feel like, I feel like Colt, he got a little bit of heat from the IWC after the Jericho match, which we later found out is, he was not at top form because he was wearing compression.
Like what a weird mistake to make. What an unfortunately terrible mistake to make in your big comeback match.
Who I mean, here's the thing. I have made that. I've
Oh
weirdly
yeah.
done the same thing. When I went running, I was told to get compression socks for running. I did not know that that meant like wear them when you're done running. And I remember on runs, I would be like,
Mm,
it fucking feels like I don't have any legs. What the fuck is going on?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I see.
I
I
get
guess
it.
that makes more sense to wear it after the run.
Yeah, totally. So
Uh,
I empathize with him, and I want him to be able to show off, like that he can put on a goddamn heater, and so I
well,
love
I
an
do
Iron Man.
believe that I want to mention. I do believe that Colt and MJF have wrestled before
Yeah,
at AIW, like the Chicago promotion.
they
I think.
definitely have had some matches. I just think that
Yeah.
I feel like this is such a no-brainer feud. Like this has got to happen. Just they have such similar energy, like a nice Chicago Jew versus a mean Long Island Jew. It's incredible.
And I mean, it'll be perfect for the next few months because the next pay per view isn't until March in AEW,
Yeah,
so they have 4 months, 3 months. So
yeah,
in AIW, Absolute Intense Wrestling in
yes,
Chicago, when they
sure.
feuded, I believe what happened was it was like a paternity test match or something, and it was revealed that Colt Cabana is in fact MJF's father.
Fuck.
I
That
think you
more
can look that
drama,
up.
father versus son.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to see it. We got to see it on TV, man. I think it would be
Yeah.
incredible. Colt deserves a title match. I feel like almost having him be Jewish Tommy Dreamer, like not winning the title and stuff would be great. It's a great role
Mhm.
for him.
Yeah. If you just Google Colt Cabana MJF father, you can see all the videos. There's an origin story. There's a whole 6 minute
Holy
recap.
shit.
So
That's
you can
so
see it
good.
all.
I love it. Listen, this ends with Star Wars. It's perfect. So yeah, that's
That's a
Havoc
great card.
Nagila.
Havoc Nagila is very clever. I
Think
like it.
I also had Hanu Chaos as an alt.
Mm,
In case I
mm.
was like, he can't. I was like, just in case he also was doing Havoc Nagila. I got
I see.
Hana Chaos
For
in the
me,
back pocket.
Hardcore Hanukkah was just right there.
It's right there.
Hardcore. And also, there was
Classic.
an ECW pay per view called Hardcore Heaven. So,
Oh,
so it's almost like a little twist on that. But yeah, I do feel like there could be a
eight
little
paper.
more. Yeah. What were you saying?
There should be 8 pay-per-views, one for every night of Hanukkah.
And it's like the G1, but like
Right.
Jew based. The Jew won. The Jew won. It's a each Jew round robin tournament that happens on Hanukkah.
dude, the Jew won. Oh fuck. Oh my god. Dude, the Jew one is that's the real one.
Yeah, that's the event.
That's the motherfucking event.
The Jew won climax.
What's Jewish WrestleMania?
Mm,
Like
um,
Mazelmania? Yeah.
yeah.
Mazelmania. We'll figure it out. But when you win the Jew one, you go to Mazelmania. Or whatever.
Wrestle Mazel Tov? No,
Yeah,
I guess
WrestleMensch.
not.
I fucking love this, dude. Thank you for building Jewish pay-per-views with
This has been a
me.
delight.
Let's end this goddamn stream and go watch Dynamite, huh?
Let's go ignite! Everybody pay with the flash of Thor! Wreck the boom! Wreck the who!
Dynamite! Good night, everybody. Happy Hanukkah.
We hope you enjoyed.
Mazel, Shabbats, and Shaloms and whatnot.